checked whatever we have implemented. Knowledge of implementation of program is must for a tester. As I discussed, programming languages is must. Okay, now it could be any programming language. There is no mandatorily that you need to know the Java, but it is always recommended to know Java, because today uh, the even if the big companies, the MNCs, prefer Java to develop a software. So can be used at all level of testing. It means structural testing can be tested on all level of testing. Algorithmic testing, so to know working of loops of the codes, to determine coverage of the statement, to decode the program behavior, etc. It means what? Working loops of the code means algorithmic means, see, every particular software has certain flow. Flow means what? That, so for example, you use these days Facebook, Instagram, correct? So how do you know whenever you like certain kind of post? Say for example, you like some kind of a dancing post, okay? So you might have seen that YouTube, Instagram, Facebook keep showing you those pages, those ads which are related to the similar that you have seen previously, correct? So it means that this is what? This is algorithm. Means this is the loop of a particular software. This is a flow of a particular software, that whenever a particular user try to use our services frequently, use a certain kind of video, use a certain kind of images, use a certain kind of follow a certain kind of accounts, do a certain kind of activity in the website, those activity, everything related to those activity will be shown to the user, will be pushing to the user. That is known as algorithm. Means how a software will treat a user, how will a software understand its user. This is all about the algorithm of a particular software. So inside the algorithm we do have a loops of codes, which means, you might have seen that we use if else else if. So these are what? These are also kind of a loop wherein we say switch case, right? In where we use that, okay, this is the scenario. So say for an example, a notification will be sent to the user. Now based on which scenarios? If the user sees similar kind of video, if the user follows similar kind of account, if the user have this much fan following, if the user watch some similar kind of videos, so same kind of content will be shown to the user. So this is what? This is the algorithm. An algorithm, how are algorithm built? Algorithms are built using the loop in the codes. Okay, we use different kind of loopings to determine the coverage of the statement. It means whatever the statement are, okay, we will be covering those statement in order to determine the algorithmic testing, okay, and do the algorithmic testing. To decode the program behavior, it means how a software should behave. If me as a user coming to the particular software, then how a software will identify my behavior. This is all about what? All about algorithm. You might have shown while you shop on Amazon or some kind of a marketplace website, so you might have shown that the similar product that you have bought or that you have added to your wish list, similar kind of product are being pushed to you. Why? Because this is the algorithm which says that this particular user found more of a browsing those electronic gadgets, so show them this particular gadgets. This is known as the algorithm. Fine. Confirmation testing or retesting is what? Once the race defect has been fixed, we need to test the system again to verify and check the defect has been fixed or not. This is called a conformational testing or retesting, widely used when the change is made to the defect in order to fix it. As I said, whenever a defect arises and it is goes for the rectification, for the modification, and once it is fixed, then will be retest the software. Important to ensure that the test is executed in exactly the same manner as it was executed before, using the same input data and environment. Now why it is important? Because say for example, you have tested the particular website. When you found a bug, you tested that particular website in a Chrome browser, and now what you are doing? You are testing it in the Internet Explorer browser. Okay, so what will happen is that the environment, browser environment are changing, right? So in that case, there's a possibility that whatever fixes you have done, that may work and may not work. In both cases, this is a critical mistake, because you are changing the browser. You need to test the browser as per the requirement. If it says in the Chrome browser, you have to test it in the Chrome browser only. Okay, So before rectification, when you found a defect, you tested in some other environment, and then when the changes had been made, and then you are testing it to some other environment, which include browser, operating system, hardware, anything. So it is going to cause an issue because you have to test it in the same manner as you did. Regression testing is when any modification or changes are done to the application, any small changes is done to the code, then it can bring unexpected issues, right? So along with the new changes, it becomes very important to test whether the existing functionality in is to intact or not, and this can be achieved by doing the regression testing. Why so? Because if you change something in the code, there's a possibility that the software is working in the Chrome browser may not work in Internet Explorer, may not work in some other browsers. So you have to check it with the same browser in order to ensure that the things are checked. So what happened, I will tell you a real example, that whenever a particular product is tested, okay, and you found a defect, okay, you report it to the developer, and developer fixed it. What you did, that you changed the environment, you tested to some Internet Explorer browser, and what you found, that there is no defect, the defect has been fixed. There is a possibility that defect may still arise. Why? When you check it in the Chrome browser, it is always recommended to use the same method, same test manner as you did earlier, to verify the modification in the software has not caused any unintended adverse effect in the software, to verify previously successful tests are maintained and not affected due to defect fix. Applicable whenever a new version of the software is introduced, and automation is recommended for this testing. So we cannot do regression testing in the manual testing. Why? Because we have to integrate that which particular browser will open or will be tested for that particular software, okay, which browser we will be using, which web driver we will be using to test that particular software. So it is always recommended, that recommended what, it is just simply not possible in the manual testing. So if you are planning to be a regression, to do a regression testing, then it will be only be possible with automation testings. Smoke and sanity testing. When a new build of the software is introduced and change in the version of the software, that has to be tested along with the regression testing. It means what? That new changes with the new environment, it will be tested along with the regression. It means that first the software found a defect, it goes for modification, for rectification, it came back, you do regression testing, along with that you have to do smoke testing. Why? Because smoke and sanity testing will ensure that the particular changes that has been made to the version or to the particular software is also working into different condition. First we are testing what, that whether it is working in the same condition or not, correct? Now if it is about the specific requirement that we will be only running the particular software in the Chrome browser, then it's a different case, okay. Smoke testing is used for checking the width of the software, to check the presence of functionality. Width means, say for example, I do have multiple phases of a login module, wherein first I will enter the phone number, then email ID, then OTP will be triggered. Then I will enter the OTP. Then I will be able to log in, and then my login ID or my account will be shown. So basically, in order to check, this is a function, right? So in order to check the function in a deeply for each and every stage from starting till finish, we need to do smoke testing. Smoke testing, what does the smoke means? It means there is some kind of what? Some kind of a cloud that is there, some kind of a smoke which is already there. So we have to do the smoke testing in order to ensure that the diff has been tested of that particular function. We have tested the function in the deep. The sanity testing is used for checking the depth of the software. This is for the width of the software and the depth of the software, to check the inner working function of the present functionality. Now, it might be possible that if I do changes in the login function, when I'm trying to log in, I will not be able to change my phone number. So this is also comes under sanity and smoke testing, which means that inner working function. So after logging into the software, the issues that I'm going to face, that should not be the case. So say for an example, before logging into the software, I'm able to add the product, I'm able to use each and every functionality of the website, but once I log in with my credential, what I found is that the inner interface is changed for me, inner navigation changed for me, inner navigation or buttons not working for me. So these are tested using sanity testing. Both combined also called build verification testing. It means what? We verify that each whatever regression testing, unit testing, integration testing, system testing, whatever we have performed till now in terms of functionality of the website, we just ensure with the build verification testing that each module, each of the functionality is working, is tested in depth without escaping anything. Non-functional testing means what? Non-functional testing attributes of the same system that do not relate to the functionality of the website. It result into quality product. Key test are performance. First of all, we test the performance of a particular software, usability, reliability, security, compatibility, maintainability, portability. So the same thing that will be testing. However, the difference is about the functionality and about the approaches that we do for different kind of testing, for non-functional and functional testing. It's just the approach. Performance testing is what? Non-functional type of testing. It means which include response, that how much time the software is taking to getting load. Okay. Stability, it means how long the software being stable. It means, say for an example, is it something that after working 15 minutes the software is showing error, or software is saying some error occurred. You might have seen this kind of problem. So these are what? Stability testing. The software is not stable. So a software, now in order to know how the stability will work, we can understand this with example. So say for an example, first software is launched. Okay, it is in the market. First we have tested it with 100 user. How many user? 100 user. We found the software is absolutely working fine. It is stable, all the functions are working very fine. In a similar way, we increase from 100 to 500, and software is still working the same. It was behaving same as it is in the with 100 user. Now in the third stage, what I did is I have increased this user potential and the capacity of the software. In order to test the capacity of the software, we increase it to 1000 visitor or 1000 user entering in a single time, using the software in a single time. And what we found is that the software starting to behave weirdly. It means there's a probability some functionality is not working, some options are not working, right? So basically what is this? This is also known as a stability testing, wherein we finalize that with 100 user, if the software is operating as per the requirement, and even with more than that, now it can be 500, 5000, 1000 user, whether the software is still stable or not. If it is not stable, then it's a not good software, right? Speed of the software, of course, we'll be checking that when clicking on some certain buttons, how fast I'm able to navigate to the next page. Workload. So whenever, as I said, the workload means what? That if I'm doing multiple activities in a software, so me as a user, and there will be 1000 user, and they are doing different activities to the software, so definitely it is working, or it is making any difference, it is having with issues. Includes load testing. Load testing means to check the application under normal load. First we'll be checking it and the normal load, as we see this in this example, checking with 100 user. Stress testing. Now say for an example, 150 is the ultimate capacity of the software. This is as per the requirement. We'll be checking it with what? 100. From 100 to 150 it is the limit. We'll be checking with 200 or maybe 250 or maybe 300 or maybe 500 users. And then endurance testing to determine the working of the software sustaining continuous expected load. It means slowly, not at a time. First 100, then 150, then 250, then 350, then 550, then 850, and then 1000. So slowly we will be what? We will be increasing the load in order to test the endurance of the software, that whether the software is behaving stable while having 1000 visitor, which is more than the capacity. Usability testing to test user interface. It means if I am as a user, when I'm landing to a website, when I'm landing to an application, how it is, how the experience is for me. To test whether the application built in user friendly or not. It means The navigation is very confusing. So if the navigation is very confusing, I'm not able to find the correct option or correct menus, right? Then how I'm going to use the software? It is worthless for me. So I will leave the software. So we have to also test that whether it is user friendly or not. User comfort using the application or various parameter. Now to understand this one, whether the application built in user friendly or not, you may take the example of Windows operating system and Linux operating system. So in the Linux operating system, everything works on command, right? It is not a user friendly operating system, but in Windows it is very user friendly uh, software or operating system which anyone can be used, because it is a purely navigation, easy navigation, right? Users comfort using the application on various parameters like the flow, as I discussed, navigation, speed, and in comparison to similar applications. Benefit of usability testing to customer or user is better quality software, software easier to use, and software more readily accepted by the user. Reliability testing is was, and I discussed that software reliability is a key part of in software quality. Okay, it is about exercising an application so that failures are discovered and removed before the system is deployed. It means what? All the reliability issues the software has. Say for an example, after entering the payment details, okay, the next page is not proceeding. My payment is confirmed. I've made the payment, but the next page is not proceeding further. So this is the kind of a reliability issue which can occur in terms of testing as well. In terms of as a user, you can also consider it that I have made the payment, but however I am not able to go to the next page. That is more what frustrating as a user. So the software should be reliable. Purpose means to determine product's reliability, to determine if software meets the customer reliability requirements, right? So I put my card details, I made the payment has been confirmed, made. However, it is not showing that the order is confirmed. This is the frustrating for me, and neither it is navigating me to the next page. So as a user, I will have a trust issues with that particular software. So that's why reliability testing is very important to ensure that every functionality in terms of user expect it is working fine. Security testing, ability to prevent unauthorized access to the programs and data of it. Designing software to avoid malicious attacks. It means if there is some kind of a malicious, viruses or malicious means what? Say for an example, whenever we browse a certain kind of website, it comes with a malware, right? So malware is what? Malware is a kind of a virus which is easily stored in our system using caches cookies. So you also have to ensure that, see, different people will use different internet connection, will use different hardware, will use different operating system, will use different browsers, right? Now in order to avoid, if say for an example I am a hacker, say for an example I am a hacker and I am able to easily loop into your system and gather the customer data, then this is going to be something which is a question mark for the user, right? As a user. So definitely a software should be secure. A software should provide a security that it should be able to prevent any kind of malicious or cyber attacks. Testing to determine the security of the software of the product. Core concept as well, confidentiality, whatever user are putting their information. Integrity, it means what? That as a software provider, as a part of a software, it is my responsibility that I should be, the integrity should be provided by the software. Integrity means what? But whatever I am doing, I am very professional to what I am doing, and whatever services I am providing, whatever data I'm asking for you. So I have the responsibility to prevent those things. Authentication. If anyone is putting in the valid OTP option and they're getting the OTP and they're able to log in with that. So authentication is needs to be very secure. Otherwise, whoever is going to make some changes, they can do some kind of anything can be done, right? Authentication, if I do have authentication access, I can literally come to your account. I can take money from your wallet. I can take the card details from your wallet. Anything can be done, right? So it should be authentic. It means Authenticity means what? The software should look, uh, it should able to give a authentication. So we do have a nowadays almost in every software we do have a two-factor authentication, right? Availability, it means the software is available 24 into 7. It should not be like, if it is, say for example, a service based software wherein I need it, a client need it 24 by 7, but after some certain times I see that, as a client I see that the software stop working. So the software should be 24 into 7, 365 days available for the users. Authorization and authentication, these are the guys, this can be confusing, so please don't be confused. When we talk about authorization, it means we are authorizing the credential, we are authorizing to our account. Now the authorization should only be provided to the user, to the real owner of that particular account. Okay. Authentication means what? Authentication means, it can be first of all how authentic is the software, and in the same time we can say that authentication means what? That whatever we are putting details, whatever credential we are using, these are the personal credential, right? These are the personal thing that is only limited to the company, to the software and the user, right? It is between them, both of them. So it should not be disclosed with any third party user or any other users at the same time, and vendors as well. So this is kind of a authentication. And authorization means that it should be a authorized software. It means what? That whenever I am visiting as a user, I should find that much comfort that okay, uh, the authorization, in terms of authorization, in terms of confidentiality, by not sharing my information, integrity, authentication, that software is authentic, and it's not like that anyone can log into my using my account. Okay. Availability of that particular software and authorization. So these are the core concept of a security testing. Maintainability testing was testing during warranty period, post software deployment. Key activities are impact analysis, risk analysis. Consists two parts. Testing the change when there are the post production defect fix. Post production means what? So for an example, that a software is working or is it yet to release, you can take the both condition. Now I made any kind of changes. Okay. So basically what it will be done, so say for an example, the user that we see are coming between this to this time, so whatever fixes are needs to be done, whatever changes needs to be done, will be done when we do have a low flow of user. Because if there are multiple user who is using the particular software and there is a load in the software, there's a possibility if you try to fix it in the active form, then it may cause any kind of error. Regression testing to verify unexpected changes that we made to the software. And also compatibility testing to test the response of a particular in computing environment. Test compatibility with the browser first, then database, or we call it server as well, operating system and the hardware. Helps to find system performance in a particular environment. So these are the concept of testing. Okay. uh, this is how we can, you can, go ahead and see that okay, if we talk about a quality software in terms of functionality and non-functionality of the software, then how reliable the software is, what is the security parameters that is following. It should give me also the confidentiality. Software should have a confidentiality testing that, that if I am putting someone else's user ID, then I'm able to log in. No, it should not be that case. It should trigger a two-factor authentication to the user, registered user, so you will also be notified someone is trying to log in. So these kind of things that needs to be checked as a tester, or needs to be tested for the software, in order to make it, in order to process it as a quality software. Correct. And apart from compatibility, we do have a portability testing, which is ease of transferring the software product from one hardware to or software to another. Example, moving an application from Windows XP to Windows 8 platform. It measures effort invested in migration of the application. We do migrate right from one website to other website. We purchase a new domain, so we want the old domain content to be transferred to the new domain. Include the various aspects: installability, it is easy to install; coexistence, it means it should have that kind of environment that when I'm putting the application, I'm copying the application from one hardware to another hardware or software, and it is also working. Adaptability means it should able to adapt any kind of system with any kind of hardware and operating system. uh, Specific, you can say, the hardware and operating system. that it will be easy to install. There should not be any issues. Replaceability, it means if I'm trying to replace it, I'm trying to replace something, then it should have the ability that it I should get the replacement should be get done. A replacement not in terms of product that I'm giving something and getting something, but replacement ability, it means whatever is there, if I need to replace something from there, say for an example, I remove login function and remove login function and just put registrant function, okay, over there. So these are replaceability. So software should have a replace ability as well. So in the next this our module 3 is also going to be completed. This is the kind of a fast, I would say, that I have gone, guys. But however, if you have any issues, I'm always there. So if you want me to if you want me to explain it one more time, so I can do it as well. We'll be doing it in the next lessons, in the next day, very next day. So next will what will be reading, or what will be learning, is regarding the module 3, which is starting from the static technique of how the test cases are designed, how the test plans are been made, so that we are prepared to test a software. Okay, so practice, practice, and practice.